Hey there, Kelley here. Today on the podcast, I want to talk about this book I just read. And no, I don't have Lisa Whittle on the podcast, but I'm going to work on that and I can hope one day. If you know her, let her know. I'd love to have her on here. I just finished this book and I highly, highly recommend you read it and follow her. I'm already listening to another book of hers called The Hard Good, and it's so good as well. My friend recommended it. I can't believe I didn't find her before now. And I am not going to tell you what she said in this book. Because I want you to read it, and I can't tell you what she said because it's her book. But I'm going to tell you some things that I got from this book that changed the way I thought, and I honestly can't stop thinking about. And I love when people just say things that we already know, maybe things we're struggling with, maybe things we are trying to improve on, or they just say it in another way that really, really hits home. And that's what she did for so many things. And I can't even say all of it. I listened to it on Audible, and I recommend that as well. And I still bought the book because I knew I was going to want to read it again. I'll probably listen to it again because there's just so much in this book. And it's almost a constant reminder of how we're living our lives. And most importantly to me, she talks about loving God most and pursuing God most. And I'm sure a lot of us are thinking, well, of course I love God most. Of course I pursue God most. Of course God is first. We can all say this, but how do you live your life? And it's so easy to fall into this trap, like fall right back into living for this world and living for other people. So some of the things she talked about that really hit home to me. First off, she tells these stories and she talks about asking her husband if he thinks she's selfish. And when she started this story and she said it, I am not going to lie, I got emotional. Like I'm walking, listening to her thing, and she asked her husband, "Do you think I'm selfish?" And I immediately thought, am I selfish? And you know what? I thought about so many situations that I'm selfish. The way you overreact about something, you get upset about something, you have expectations about something that don't come through. Maybe you want to help someone or you need to help someone. It's a bit inconvenient for you. So yeah, there's a lot of places in my life that I feel that I'm selfish that I can work on. And it just the way she said it, it didn't make me feel terrible, or it just made me shift. I can work on that. I can fix that. And that'll bring me more peace in my life, which is all that I'm striving for. Secondly, she talks about other people's opinions. And if you are living for other people's opinions, you're not living for God first. You're not pursuing God most. You're living for other people. It's so simple, but every single day, and she tells a story about this too, and a friend that doesn't think she is, but the way she goes through the story reminds you for little things, like when you say yes and you really need to say no for your family, which is a lot of what I see in this world where we do for everyone else, and somehow we are missing out at home in our family because we're overextended outside of our house. This is me talking. It's easy to do, which those are the things that help me say no over the years. But really, still, there's certain things that maybe you worry about disappointing someone or upsetting someone or whatever it is. It's so easy to do, or it's in the back of your mind. But if you're living for God most, pursuing God most, it's so much easier to make those right decisions. So much easier. Thirdly, explaining yourself. Are you constantly explaining yourself? Are there certain people you feel like you have to tell why you said no or yes, or why you're doing this or that? Or I think back to when I started homeschooling my kids, all the questions people asked me when I started my blog, when I left this job, or when I did this or that, whatever. If you're explaining yourself, you're spending time doing something again, you're putting these people first, and you could be missing something else. And she has another story in there where she's explaining to these people, trying to get them to understand her, and she totally misses something else. And in order to hear God, know what our calling is, what our pull is, we got to be listening. So Are you explaining yourself when you don't need to? Are you, you know, spending time and energy and just being distracted by that? Move on, move on. If you know your choice and you know it's right, move on. Nextly, she talked about dreams, like, and this hit me hard. Like, if you know something's stirring in your heart, you know God's given you a dream, He's given you something, and you're kind of pursuing it, maybe half-heartedly pursuing it, but you're not fully pursuing it, because let's be honest, that pursuing it full on gets uncomfortable. You got to put yourself out there more. It takes courage, boldness. But man, all of that made me realize, like, why are we holding back? If we have something that we feel is that we should be doing, don't hold back. Like, put it out there, serve others, give your gift to the world, help others, chase your dream, whatever it is. Don't hold back. Like, that is this one life. And she just said it so, so well. And now that I follow her on Instagram as well, like, just her quotes and other people saying, she is one to follow. If God is first in your life, you want to pursue Him most, you want Him more in your life, follow Lisa Whittle. Grab this book, I Want God. Listen to it, buy the book. You're going to want the book, because in the book she has all of these, like, questions to ask yourself in the beginning, and fast. Just so good. And one of the things that she talks about is her PAL acronym, where she pauses first when something's, in front of her. She asks herself, is this for me to solve or God to solve? Such a good question. And if it's not for her to solve, if she's done all that she can, she lays it down. Whether physically, she imagines, she lays it down. But that's that letting go, that surrender that I talk about a lot. And a lot of times it seems like someone doesn't care, or people think you don't care because you've done all you can. It doesn't mean don't do anything. You do all you can, but there comes a point where you let it go and you let God handle the rest, because it's all you can do. So let's stop trying to control all that. So either way, that's it. I just had to share it. It's been on my heart. It was so good. Please grab it and follow Lisa Whittle, and listen to her, because I'm telling you, she will change your life. She really will. And I just can't wait to listen to more and listen to this again and finish The Hard Good. So thanks for listening.